of active aging is like the rhythm of seruni in our heart.
Berapa sih kok belum mulai?
Oke, baik. Selamat siang para peserta international webinar yang kami hormati. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining today's third international webinar with theme Age-Friendly University, Elderly Health Perspective. This event held by University of Respati, Indonesia. Huh? Okay. Wait. In collaboration with University of Indonesia, Atma Jaya University, and Loboro University. Thanks to all the speakers and invited guests who has attended the webinar room. Ladies and gentlemen, the song we heard before is Active Aging Song arranged by Dwi Astuti from University of Respati, Yogyakarta, and lyric by Professor Tribudi Wahyuni Raharjo. Before we start the webinar, here we show the rules of today's afternoon webinar. Mohon ditampilkan, Mas Izi, peraturan webinar. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tia from University of Respati, Indonesia, and I'm Master of Ceremony at this event. Today, we have around 3,000 participants who join this international seminar on Zoom and YouTube channel. First of all, let's say thanks to Allah who has been giving us guidance, happiness, health, and mercy so we can participate in this event without any obstacles. On this special occasion, we have several agendas, so allow me to read several sequences of our agenda. The first is the welcome speech from our organizing committee. The second is opening remarks by Rector of University Indonesia, Rector of Atma Jaya University, and Rector of University of Respati Indonesia. The third is main event will lead by moderator, Mr. Jainal Abidin, MEC. Continue with question and answer time. The fourth is panel session 2, led by moderator Dr. Laila Ulfa. Continue with question and answer time. The fifth is closing statement by moderator, and the sixth is closing time. Well, to take the advantage of the time, let's start this agenda by reciting Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Step on to the following agenda is welcome speech and report of activity from organizing committee by Dr. Lili Indrawati. First, I would like to introduce Dr. Lili Indrawati. She's graduate from Faculty of Medicine Gajah Mada University, awarded the degree of Medical Doctor MD in 1999. Postgraduate program Pajajaran University, awarded the degree of Master in Basic Medical Science in 2001. CMU Regional Center for Food and Nutrition, University of Indonesia, awarded the degree of Doctorate in Nutrition in 2015. She published lots of articles and now she is a lecturer in Faculty of Postgraduate University of Respati, Indonesia. So Dr. Lily Indrawati, please, time is yours.
Thank you, Mbak Tia. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from Universitas Respati, Indonesia. The Honorable Rector of Universitas Respati, Indonesia, along with the academic staffs, the Honorable Chairman of Respati Education Foundation, along with the Board of Directors, the Honorable Speakers, Moderators, and all respected webinar participants, welcome to our international webinar. It is a great honor to have you all to be our special guests at International Webinar Series 3, Age-Friendly University Today, August 12, 2020, that is conducted in collaboration with Universitas Indonesia, Universitas Atma Jaya, and Loughborough University. This webinar raises the topic of elderly health perspective. It is carried out with the aim of promoting collaboration in education and research on healthy aging. The Honorable Professor Ari Kunchoro, as Rector of Universitas Indonesia, we thank you for your support of this activity by welcoming to open the program. The same expression is given to the Honorable Dr. Agustinus Prasetyantoko, Rector of Universitas Atma Jaya, and Professor Tribudi Weraharjo, Rector of URINDO. Today we have Professor Yves Hugervos, Professor in Biological Psychology, Loughborough University, UK, also visiting Professor of URINDO, who will deliver welcome remark as well as keynote speech on collaboration in education and research on healthy aging. Besides, we will also gain insight into faculty programs on education, research, and community service in Faculty of Public Health, Dentistry, and Medical Science from the expert today. They are Professor Sudianto Kamso, Professor in Biostatistics, Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Indonesia, Profesor Lindawati Kusdani, Dean of Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia, and Dr. Yuda Turana, Dean of Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Atma Jaya. We also have some speakers that will deliver speech on gerontic nutrition, gerontic nursing, and elderly reproductive health from lecturers and researchers of URINDO. They are Dr. Atik Kridawati, Nurse Fajar Susanti, and Dr. Ari Waluyo. Participants who registered up to 1 hour before the event were recorded as many as around 3,000 people from Sabang to Merauke, including from outside country, namely Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Japan, Australia, UK, USA, and India. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our report as the organizing committee of the webinar. We congratulate you on joining this webinar completely. As the chair of organizing committee, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to extend our high appreciation to all speakers and moderator and participant on joining this webinar. A big thanks to all members of organizing committee for all great work so this event can be held well. Finally, I would like to express my special thanks to Professor Tribudi Weraharjo for building our confidence to hold the series of international webinar, and also to the Respati Education Foundation, who always support our activities sincerely. Have a great webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lily, for the welcome speech. Next, the following agenda is opening remarks by Rector of Universitas Indonesia, Professor Ari Kunchoro. Please, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Indonesia is now entering the aging population period where an increase in life expectancy followed by an increase in the number of older people make the number of older people jump from 18 million in 2010 to 25.9 million in 2019 and continue to increase in 2035 by 248.2 million, or an increase about 15.77%. Population aging is a global phenomenon and occurring faster in developing countries, which may have less time to adjust to the consequence of these changes. By 2050, older people will account for 20% of the population in developing countries. The same aging portion as in a developed country. Population aging has profound impact on many aspects of human life. An aging population will affect everything from socio-economic, labor market to healthcare. And at the same time, the older population is growing at a faster and increasing speed, which make the problem of aging issue become very difficult to contain, particularly in targeting policies program to address that problem. It has important challenges and consequences for national economic, social, and health institutions, and the health and well-being of older person and their family. Improved standard of living, medical advances in the prevention of and control of the formerly fatal infectious disease had made it possible for an increasing number of persons to reach an age at which they become more vulnerable to heart disease, stroke, cancer, arthritis, mental disorder, and other chronic illnesses, causing limited ability for those people. As more and more people live longer, degenerative diseases, most common condition of the people with the old age, have emerged as major causes of disability and functional dependency, requiring services that affect many sectors. Such as health, housing, transportation, recreation, and the burden of this chronic disease will make a great challenge for policymakers to design a suitable policy to contain them. Based on that condition, Universitas Indonesia conducts education, research, and community service on aging issues, multidisciplinary, and also Lembaga Demografi at UI had started conducting activity to mitigate the challenges posed by the aging population. Not to be left behind, also faculties of health in health science cluster, such as Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Dentistry, Faculty of Public Health, Faculty of Nursing, and Faculty of Pharmacy. To address the issue further, Universitas Indonesia also established the Center for Aging Study on March 2010. Professor Tribudi is the first chairman of the center at the time. The goal of the center are to strengthen multi-center and interdisciplinary research in collaboration within UI, national, as well as among international institutions, to provide education, training, and services through the application of research findings. Health service delivery for older persons should be conducted comprehensively and holistically, starting from family and community. Those services required the development of gerontology that was further carried out through collaborative research with many national and international institutions, and one of them is with Loughborough University in United Kingdom and has produced many publications on aging issues. Moreover, the development of aging science has also been implemented at the Universitas Indonesia, Universitas Respati Indonesia, and Atma Jaya Catholic University of Indonesia through the scientific work of clinical practice on undergraduate and specialist program. Besides, thesis and dissertation in the doctoral and master program have been developed significantly. Various studies have been carried out in the development of aging sciences from various disciplines, including psychology, socioeconomic, technology, public health, mental health, and dental health. We hope that through collaboration between universities, we can overcome the challenges posed by the aging population. And this webinar will be promoting collaboration in education research on healthy aging. Sekian, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor Ari Kunchoro, for the opening remarks. We move to the next agenda is opening remarks by Rector of Universitas Atma Jaya, Dr. Agustinus Prasentiantoko, by video showing.
On behalf of Atma Jaya Catholic University of Indonesia, as a co-host of this international webinar, I would like to welcome you all, the participants and speakers of this seminar. We are very honored to be a co-host of this important event together with URINDO, Loughborough University, and Universitas. On behalf of Atma Jaya Catholic University of Indonesia, as a co-host of this international webinar, I would like to welcome you all, the participants and speakers of this seminar. We are very honored to be a co-host of this important event together with URINDO, Loughborough University, and Universitas Indonesia. The topic of this webinar is Age-Friendly University Elderly Health Perspective. We believe that this topic is very relevant to this country even when Indonesia still has a bonus demography. We should prepare for the future by now. Our medical school also has a big concern on this issue. To be more specific, our leading research is on the area of neurosciences with some public health implications such as Alzheimer's. We apply a multidisciplinary perspective on the issue of geriatric gerontology, covering medical, psychological, and also public policy. We're happy to contribute to this discussion, and we do hope that you all have a very insightful discussion through all the session. Have a nice seminar.
Thank you, Dr. Agustinus Prasentiantoko, for the opening remarks. And next agenda is officially opening remarks by Rektor Universitas Respati Indonesia, Profesor Tribudi Wahyuni Raharjo. Please, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Tia. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let us praise to God Almighty for His blessing that makes realization to conduct the third international webinar series with the title Age-Friendly University Elderly Health Perspective in collaboration with Universitas Indonesia, Atma Jaya Catholic University of Indonesia, and Loughborough University. For those, we welcome and express our high appreciation to our honorable collaborators and speakers. Firstly, Professor E. Frost, Professor in Biological Psychology, Loughborough University, UK, and also visiting Professor URINDO. I also appreciate and welcome to Professor Ari Kunchoro, Rector of Universitas Indonesia. Thank you very much, Professor Ari, for your opening remark that very inspiring and challenging for us to work together. Dr. Agustinus Prasentoko, Rector of Atma Jaya Catholic University of Indonesia, thank you for welcoming remark, and we will work together with multidisciplinary approach that you mentioned. Professor Sudianto Kamso, Professor of Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Indonesia, Professor Lindawati Kusdani, Dean of Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia, Dr. Yuda Turana, Dean of Faculty of Medicine, Atma Jaya Catholic University of Indonesia, Dr. Ati Kridawati, Nurse Fajar Susanti, and Dr. Ari Waluyo from Universitas Respati Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, collaboration of research and education in aging issues with Loughborough University is sustainable and being continued up to now. Moreover, the development of aging science have also been implemented at Universitas Indonesia, Universitas Respati Indonesia, and also Atma Jaya Catholic University. It means that all universities mentioned above have become AIDS-friendly university. In the field of public health sciences, programs in public health, dentistry, and medicine should be very important to be socialized. Furthermore, gerontic nursing, gerontic nutrition, and elderly reproductive health should be promoted to enhance elderly health. We will be learning a lot from all the honorable collaborators and honorable speakers, and also from the participants. This discussion will be chaired by the moderator, Mr. Jainal Abidin, Dean of Faculty of Health Sciences, Universitas Respati Indonesia, and Dr. Laila Ulfa, Lecturer of Faculty of Postgraduate Studies, Universitas Respati Indonesia. Thank you very much for your kind support and collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to appreciate the organizing committee chaired by Dr. Lili Indrawati and Maria Aditya as Master of Ceremony, the ID team, faculty members of URINDO, Universitas Indonesia, Universitas Atma Jaya, and also the participants who joined this webinar today. We do hope that our collaboration will be improved and will be long-lasting collaboration with other universities in promoting its friendly universities in Indonesia and all over the world. Finally, please accept our limitation that makes inconvenient to all of you. Good luck with the webinar. With the blessing of the Lord, the third international webinar on AIDS-friendly university is officially open. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Tribudi Wahyuni Raharjo, for officially opening the webinar. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue to the main agenda. That is main event will lead by moderator, Mr. Zainal Abidin, MSc. First, I would like to introduce Mr. Zainal Abidin is the Dean Faculty of Health Sciences, University of Respati, Indonesia. His education background is Master of Science on Environmental Health. He has extensive experience in higher educational management, employs excellent leadership skills and multitasking strengths, demonstrated ability to improve faculty operations. Now, Mr. Zainal Abidin, please, time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Aditya. Good afternoon, everyone. Selamat siang dan salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Zainal Abidin as a moderator in this session. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the general objective of this webinar is promoting collaboration in education and research on healthy aging. In this session, we have invited 4 outstanding speakers from reputable universities. They will share experiences in the implementation of education, research, and community service on elderly health perspective. And I invite Prof. E as the first speaker for delivering welcome remarks and keynote speech on collaboration in education and research on healthy aging. Good morning, Professor E.
Hi.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us in the morning, Loboro.
Yes, it's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. Before that, I would like to introduce Professor Eve Hogerfors by reading her short CV. Professor Eve Hogerfors is a professor in biological psychology from University, UK. She obtained her PhD at Maastricht University in the age-related cognitive decline and treatment at the Department of Psychiatry and Neuropsychology in 1998. She was awarded several grants and prizes for her research into the association between hormones and cognitive decline or dementia. Prof. Eve is also visiting professor at University of Respati, Indonesia, both Yogyakarta and Jakarta, and adjunct professor at the University of Indonesia, and also visiting professor at the University of Trisakti, Jakarta. Professor Eve, time is yours, and the time around 15 minutes, please.
Thank you very much for your kind words. I'm trying to do the share
We
screen.
apply a multidisciplinary perspective on the issue of geriatric gerontology, covering medical, psychological.
Right. Sorry, I'm trying to share my screen with you. Here we go. I would like to talk about the collaboration on gerontology and geriatrics, healthy aging, between Loughborough University, URINDO, where I hold chairs, and URIO and the University of Indonesia. Professor Tribudi and myself first got in touch after Dr. Philip Krieger, who worked at the University of Oxford, suggested we should collaborate on pikun in Indonesia. And in 2005, when I had moved to Loughborough University, we started working together on dementia issues in Indonesia. So Loughborough University, you can see, is in the heart of England. We are currently on the 4th position of best universities in the UK, after Oxford, Cambridge and St Andrews, according to the Guardian Best University Guide, and on the 6th position for the other best university guides. We are known around the world. We're #1 for our sports and exercise medicine studies, where we are looking at healthy lifestyles and how they can promote aging and child development. One of these is dementia, which, according to WHO, is a public health priority around the world. Currently, there are an estimated 50 million people who have pikun, and every year this is increased by 10 million new cases. The majority of these are in developing countries, and in Indonesia, the estimates were anywhere between 1 and 2 million currently. So to investigate this in more detail, we decided to work together with Dr. Fidiansha Morshid and Dr. Ira Ismail and Professor Tribudi on dementia diagnostics in Indonesia. So pikun is a clinical diagnosis. We see global cognitive decline, people not being able to do their banking, traveling, communications, perception. And usually one of the first signs is memory. And that can impact really on your activities of daily life in learning new information and recognizing people, etc. One of the most common clinical diagnoses of pikun is Alzheimer's disease. It is about 60% of all the dementias that present in the clinic, but usually we also see vascular disease in Alzheimer's as well, because they share risk factors. Alzheimer's disease is characterized in the brain by tangles and amyloid plaques. And the amyloid plaques are important for some of the research that I will show you with Dr. Atik Kridawati. So we have projects all over the world. We work in Brazil, the US, Europe, China, India, and of course in Indonesia, where our collaboration has been most productive. Since 2005, we published 100 peer-reviewed joint publications with our students and the staff, and we have obtained over £1 million in funding for our research. So the collaboration has been very, very productive, and I'm very grateful to Professor Tribudi for her continued support with our research. So if we look at the risk factors of dementia, we can see that the risk for dementia increases with age, which is why worldwide we see an increase in numbers. And this is more so for women than for men after the age of 80. Currently in the UK, pikun is the leading cause of death for women. Well, currently it's COVID, of course, but in times without COVID, it has been dementia over the last couple of years. So aging in Indonesia was a study that was set up by Professor Krieger and Professor Tribudi. And we then did a study called the Study of Elderly Memory Impairment and Associated Risk Factors, SEMAR. And over 700 people were interviewed and tested in Jakarta, in Sitanga, and in Borobudur. Now, in Sitanga, the majority of people were Sundanese. They were mostly farmers or laborers. In Borobudur, they were Javanese, and again, mainly farmers or laborers. And in Jakarta, there was a mix of Javanese and Sundanese people, most of whom were quite affluent and had education. We tested our cognitive test, which we validated at Oxford University with Dr. Fidiansha Morshid and Dr. Ira Ismail, and found that we could use the same test in Indonesia with the same cutoffs for pikun. Using these data, we could extrapolate the numbers of people with pikun in these different areas. We can see on the left the data for the UK, but then when we look at Jakarta, we can see that the expected numbers in people over 85 was not seen. This might be because the people we tested were quite affluent and had very healthy lifestyles. They had exercise, healthy diets, and most of them did not smoke. The poor people tend to migrate, as you know, to rural Borobudur. And this is where we found a very high number of people, the elderly people with pikun. So if we look overall, and this is also data by Dr. Yuda Turana, we found an expected 5%, which is very similar in Europe in people with dementia over the age of 60. Now, this was higher in the rural parts, possibly because of differences in lifestyle or education, but was lower in Jakarta because, as I said, many people were quite affluent with good access to healthcare and very healthy lifestyles that we tested. Now, as Prof. Ari Kunkaras suggested, the number of elderly people is increasing. And if we extrapolate this to the estimated prevalence, currently there would be around 1.2, increasing to 1.8 million cases of people with PKUN in 2025. And this, we don't know this. This could be anywhere between 500,000 and 2 million people. So we are currently with Dr. Yuda Turana and Prof. Yvonne Adayani and Prof. Krieger and Dr. Butterfield. We are carrying out a large study to further investigate PKUN in Indonesia. The point is that prevention of dementia is currently the only way we can cure dementia. There is no treatment, and the costs are very high because the caregivers also need to spend a lot of time with the elderly. They often can't work, so the productivity of the elderly and their caregivers is much reduced by PKUN. We know that if we enrich the environment, we exercise, we can still promote the outgrowth of nerve cells in the brain, even in older animals and in older humans. So in Indonesia, we also found that the elderly who engaged in sports and exercise had better memories and better global cognition. When they engaged in sport, they also had a reduced PKUN risk, a reduced dementia risk by half. This was data from our PhD student, Dr. Clifford, who currently works in Wolverhampton, and later also found by Dr. Mira Soni, who currently works in Hong Kong and investigated this over time. Dr. Soni also found that the people with PKUN who keep on exercising have a lower rate of memory decline. The effect was most clearly found in women. And as I showed you earlier on, the women have a double risk of dementia. Some people think that this might be because after the menopause, they have lower levels of estrogens. And estrogen can protect the aging brain. However, in Oxford, we found that for the older people, very high levels of estrogens are not good for the neurons. This needs to be given in midlife. So we were looking for a safer treatment and went to Indonesia to investigate this. So what we did is we looked at phytoestrogens, plant-based estrogens, the isoflavones. These are very similar to the female hormone estrogens, but might be safer. And this was together with our PhD student, Dr. Aminu Yusufu, who currently works in London, and also by Dr. Soni. Now, what we found in these studies was that, like estrogens, a high intake of tofu was associated in the elderly over 68 years of age by an increased risk of PKUN by 30%. However, if the elderly ate tempeh, the risk was reduced, and also when they ate fruit. Here we can also see how high intake of tofu was also associated with worse memory. So 21 times per week means 3 times a day. And we can see that those people had the lowest memory performance. However, if they ate tempeh, they had better memory. Prof. Tribhuti and I were then invited to come to China. And here you can see us outside the Shanghai Mental Health Center, Shaanxi Normal University, where we were greeted by Prof. Bing. Now, here we worked together with Dr. Xu Xin. Dr. Xu Xin was our combined PhD student and is now a professor in China. So we are very proud. And Xu Xin, our PhD student, looked at the diagnosis, found she could use the same test, and she also found that the Chinese in Shanghai, the elderly people over 65 years of age who ate a lot of tofu, had worse memory and a higher risk of dementia. Prof. Tony from Oreo had suggested that this might be the case because actually the people who have no teeth eat more tofu. So we tested this. We did not find that tofu was explained by people not having teeth. However, we found independently that the people who had no teeth, no gigi, had a 4-time higher risk for PICUM. People who had less than 10 gigi doubled the risk for PICUM. And this was work we did with Dr. Devi Priyandini and Dr. Henry Sityawan from the University of Diponegoro, with Professor Tribhuti supervising their work. Maybe it was thought that long-term inflammation associated with gingivitis was associated both with PICUM and ultimately the teeth loss. But it could also be that this was associated with not being able to eat the healthy fruits, such as tempeh, some meats, and some fruits. When we went back to Borobudur to tell people about our research, we asked people to eat less tofu and more tempeh. After 2 years, we found that in the elderly who had done this, their memory was improved. So the elderly who ate more tempeh. We also found in the middle-aged people that eating soy was beneficial. So we also took saliva samples, as you can see here, and Dr. Ati Kridavati then joined our team, supported by the Ministry of Education, to come to Loughborough University and develop a new assay to test the soy isoflavone in saliva. And she worked together with Professor Barry Sharp and Dr. Helen Griffiths in our lab. And she's very successfully developed this first assay to test soy isoflavone in saliva, which was major important work. Dr. Ati Kridavati investigated tofu and tempeh by freeze-drying the products so they could then be used in experiments. She took rats and took their ovaries out, as you can see here, which decreases their natural estrogen. They were then tested for memory and given either tempeh, tofu, estradiol, or a control protein. And what she found was very important, is you can see that after, so from baseline 1, they were not treated, then baseline 2, their ovaries were taken out and their memory got worse. But if they were given tempeh, their memory improved a lot, more than with tofu, more than with estradiol, and certainly a lot more than with the control protein casein. Most importantly, the dementia marker I told you about before, the beta amyloid marker, went up after the ovaries were taken out and then decreased a great deal after the rats were given tempeh. And to a lesser extent, this also happened for tahu and estradiol. So these rats were what you would call middle-aged rats. For the older rats, we saw beneficial effects of tempeh, but not of tahu and estradiol, like we see in the humans. So this means that we need to do estrogen-like treatments in midlife, but for TEMPE, we can continue this treatment also in the older animals and humans. And Dr. Yuda Turana recently found that TEMPE also improved cognitive function in people who are at risk for dementia. So in sum, dementia risk is growing in Indonesia, and we can measure it with the test we validated in Oxford. And we are further investigating this with Dr. Yudan Turana, who is included in the STRIDE study. The lifestyle changes can make a huge difference in Pikun, maybe by 40%, as a recent article in The Lancet showed. We found that exercising and sports can reduce the risk by half, and can also help when people already have dementia, like staying mentally active, which is also very good. And Dr. Yuda Tirana and his team have done several studies in cognitive stimulation therapy. Eating tempeh and fruit, we found reduced the risk of Pikun, but eating a lot of tofu in the elderly, in the over 65, the over 68, increased the risk for Pikun in Indonesia and China, and as Dr. Soni found, also in Hawaii. So this is probably not a chance finding. However, tempeh can improve memory and reduce the dementia markers in rats and also in humans. And as Dr. Turana showed, also probably in people who are at risk for dementia with mild cognitive impairment. So we have been funded by the British Council repeatedly to investigate this, and I've recently put in another grant application to hopefully continue to investigate this. We also found, so you can see how important gerontology and nutrition is, but also gerodontology is a very important topic, where we found that having few teeth increased dementia risk. And Professor Linda Kuschani found that when we improve the dental status, we can also improve the memory of the elderly. This research, this is our tempeh team. As you can see, here we are in Cirebon together with Dr. Ati Kridiabati, who is currently taking the lead in this study, and myself and Prof. Tribudi, and of course Dini, who is always supporting us, and the people who funded us. So we were funded several times by the Ministry of Education, the Alzheimer's Research Trust, and the British Council, but also, of course, by our universities, who have been tremendously supportive. I would like to thank you very much for your attention, and I shall. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Prof. Ip, for your very, very interesting presentation. Again, thank you very much. Clap audience for Prof. Ip. Thank you again, Prof. Ip. And audiences, if you have any question, please write down your question in the chat box below. The question and answer session will be opening after all speakers has finished their presentation. Thank you. Now we will move to the next speaker. The presentation about faculty program on education, research, and community service in Faculty of Public Health on aging issues will be presented by Professor Sudianto Kamso from Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Indonesia. I invite Prof. Sudianto to deliver your presentation. And before that, I would like to introduce Professor Sudianto Kamso by reading a short CV. Professor Sudianto Kamso is Professor in Biostatistics, Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Indonesia. He obtained medical doctor from Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Indonesia, and Master of Public Health from Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Indonesia and PhD from CMU. His teaching field on elderly health, non-communicable disease, tuberculosis, and multivariable analysis. Professor Sudianto also published many books and articles related to his field interests. Now, Professor Sudianto Kamso, time is yours, and the time is about 50 minutes, please. Thank you. Please, time is yours, Prof.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear my voice?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. But this sorry. Okay. Wait a moment. Sorry, I have trouble.
Nangin apa sih?
Please.
Mana?
Jangan.
The hotspot to your video forever. Ya, we like to unmute your speaker later aja.
Ini jangan. Mana?
Oke, mana?
Ini ya.
The host has spotlighted.
Jangan ngomong.
Gimana?
Ini.
Oh, has spotlighted.
Yeah, I have trouble this. Okay, thank you very much for the opportunities giving to me to join this webinar. As the organizing committee asked me to sharing experience in how faculty program on education, research, and community in the Faculty of Public Health. Sorry, can you running this slide, because I have difficulty here. Chair, is there an operator there that can? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Prof.
Yeah. There are many approaches dealing with the elderly problem in Indonesia. As we are aware that the elderly health issue in Indonesia, first in the increasing number of elderly populations, and then by the year 2050, that expected the elderly in Indonesia will be 21% of the total population. The other problem is that the elderly in Indonesia, they have health problem, nutritional problem, low education level, inadequate number of health facilities specifically designed for elderly, and elderly people with low economic status are more neglected in this country, and there are also limited social security coverage. Next. Based on many problems faced by the elderly in Indonesia, Faculty of Public Health, University of Indonesia, developing course entitled The Elderly Health in Indonesia. Next. Objective of this course is that the student should understand the problem of the elderly in the community. The second is that the students should able to analyze the problem and formulate ways to solve them in public health perspective. And the third is do research on public health on problem of aging. The course content of this course is consists of two parts. The first is theories, the theory of aging, biological and physiological change in aging and its implication on quality of life, and also problem faced by the elderly and the community in Indonesia. And then the second part is the practice or field study. This is the objective is to find problem of the elderly in the community. And the second is to find solution by proper management in relation to public health. Next. We have several topics discussing with the student in this course. Is that economic and social problem, healthcare in the elderly, nutritional aspect, physical activity, and the quality of life of the elderly. Next. And then we also discussed about the sexual life of the elderly. We discussed about non-communicable diseases and communicable diseases in the elderly, premature aging preventions, and also we discussed about the successful aging. Method we use in this course and by lectures, presentation and discussion, and field study. We choose field study area for this course is in health center, also in sub-health center, and in free living elderly, in institutionalized elderly community, and also in hospitalized elderly. Participant for this course is coming from the bachelor's program as one student and also from the master student as two students. But sometimes that those who join doctoral degree has also come to the department discussing with us about whether they will select topic in the elderly problem. Assessment of the course, that is the conclusion up to now so far, is that student attention in this course is quite high. The discussion about the problem of the elderly and how to solve them is very interesting for the student, and there are increasing number and quality of research on aging. Since this course is established in the years of 2000 up to now, is about 20 years. The total numbers of the dissertation that is based on the elderly problem is around 25 dissertation already produced in our faculty from the doctoral student. And of course that the thesis it must be more from that, yeah, from the master program and also from the bachelor program. I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Sudianto, for your very interesting project and inspiring presentation. And again, for the audiences, if there are any question, please write your question in chat box below, and will be answered at the question and answer session. Thank you. Thank you again, Prof. Sudianto, for your presentation. And audience, the next speaker is Professor Lindawati Kusdani from Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia. Selamat siang, Prof. Apa kabar?
Selamat siang. Selamat siang, Pak.
Okay. Prof. Linda will deliver a presentation about geriatric dentistry programs and activities in Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia. Okay, before that, let me introduce Prof. Linda by reading her short CV. Prof. Linda Kusdani is Dean Faculty of Dentistry in Indonesia since 2018. She completed the doctoral program from Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia from 2001 and 2003 with a dissertation entitled Determination of Mandibular Bone Density Index in Postmenopausal Women with Osteoporosis. In 2006, she got recognition as consultant in removable prosthodontics from Indonesian Board Prosthodontic. She is now a professor in prosthodontics and geriatric dentistry from Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia since 2011. Okay, Prof. Linda, time is yours, and the time about 50 minutes, please.
Okay. Thank you, moderator, and please can share my PPT. And thank you for the moderator and also the committee for giving me time to present in this very prestigious webinars. And first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Professor Tribudi, who invited me to present here about the Geriatric Dentistry Program and activities in Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia. Yes, please, next slide. Yes, Indonesia, I think all of the participants has already know that we are now entering the aging society. According to WHO, the proportion of more than 7% of elderly in the population, it is called the aging society. And in Indonesia, in 2020, we see that the proportion of elderly in Indonesia is already 10%. So we have already an aging society. Next slide, please. Yeah, and optimum quality of life of the elderly can be achieved not only by taking notice of general health condition, but also by taking consideration of oral health. And according to WHO, oral health is an integral and essential to general health, and it is a determinant factor for a good quality of life for the elderly. Next slide. Yes, and older adults may face many barriers when assessing oral health care, and these are related to socio-economic issues, medical issues, and also oral health problems. In socio-economic problems, there is a problem such as lack of finance and also lack of social support. And in general health problems, we found some multiple comorbidities and some polypharmacy. So every physician or dentist give their own medication so that there is a polypharmacy for the elderly and also dementia. And in oral health problems, we seen many elderly having heavily restored dentition, accompanied by dry mouth and root caries, and also inability to maintain adequate oral hygiene independently. Yes, next slide. And in elderly, we see that more dental caries that go untreated, and then it is also followed by poorer dental hygiene, less access to oral care, and also xerostomia. Sometimes it is related with the medication that the elderly took. So it will give the impact of reduced chewing performance and constrained food of choice. Sometimes elderly select their food, so they only eat the soft food. Sometimes it is high in carbohydrate. And also because there's oral health problems, sometimes they have a weight loss, impaired communication, and low self-esteem and well-being. And geriatric dentistry, it's the delivery of dental care to older adults involving diagnosis, prevention, management, and treatment of problems associated with age-related disease. In the elderly population, poor oral health has been considered a risk factor for general health problems. And older adults are more susceptible to oral condition or disease, to an increase in chronic condition and physical or mental disabilities.
Oh, ada berapa?
Next slide, yeah. And nowadays, there is a growing interest in gerontology or geriatric dentistry. So we have already included this geriatric dentistry topics in our Indonesian dental competency curriculum. It is in 2020, but in Asian, they also have included the geriatric dentistry or gerontology in their Asian competency for dental education. And we also have already included the topic of geriatric dentistry in some of the specialist degree programs, such as in prosthodontic, in periodontics, and in oral medicine, and also in master program in public health, dental public health, and also in our PhD program. We have many research and also field study, case report, and clinical observation was done in the topic of geriatric dentistry in Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia. Right? And this is the research topic 3 that we have in the topic of geriatric dentistry. We have several research in the topic of oral health-related quality of life in the elderly, the systemic disease and oral health index to predict osteoporosis, and then polymorphism related with osteoporosis risk, alveolar bone resorption, dementia and oral health. This research also was done collaborating with the Professor Yves Hogevos, and cognitive function and using dentures, masticatory ability, oral cancer awareness, questionnaire for serostomia for the elderly, questionnaire to evaluate medical risk, periodontal disease and menopausal condition, and oral health behavior and dental caries status of Indonesian elderly. Yeah, these topics result in a joint publication, and it is also was done collaborating with other institutions and internationally or nationally, such as with Labra University, with Niigata University in Japan, with Tokyo Medical Dental University, with University of Otago, New Zealand, with Chungsan Medical University, Taiwan. With the Chungsan Medical University, Taiwan, we developed a program to have a workshop for the caregiver and also for dental assistant and also for the dentist in the topic of special need dentistry and geriatric dentistry. We also have some collaboration with General Hospital in Depok, Bekasi, and Tangerang area, and also government institution. Next slide. In our Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia, we have the program of geriatric dentistry in 2 bases. The first one is the community based. We do the promotive and preventive program with using counseling methods. We develop a module and training for caregivers, and we do the preventive individual strategies. So we teach the elderly to take care of their oral health. And the second one is the hospital base in our dental hospital. So in our dental hospital, we have a special clinic for the geriatric. We call it the Edelweiss Clinic. Next slide. And according to the Ministry of Health regulation in 2014, at every hospital or every dental hospital should develop a geriatric clinic in the hospital. So in our dental hospital, we also have the clinic for the geriatric. And who is classified as geriatric patient? It is the, according to the Ministry of Health, the patient with the age more than 60 with 2 or more disease or disabilities, or the patient with age more than 70 with 1 or more disease or disabilities. Yes, next slide. And we have the service that we have in our geriatric clinic in our dental hospital consists of outpatient service, inpatient service, home care, and also we have a daycare clinic that we do the promotive and preventive programs for the elderly. Next slide. Next, and this is the outpatient service for the elderly. We have all services in dental treatment, like prosthodontic treatment, oral medicine, periodontics, oral maxillofacial surgery, and also restorative and endodontic treatment. Yes. And this is the outpatient service we do in our dental clinic, our geriatric clinic. And this is the community-based program in our Faculty of Dentistry. This is an interdisciplinary approach with department in Faculty of Dentistry, such as Department of Public Health and Preventive Dental Department, Department of Prosthodontics, Oral Medicine, and Periodontics. This is the picture when we do the oral health screening and referral in the community in the nursing home in South Jakarta. Next slide. And this is when we do a community engagement program in Kepulauan Seribu in August 2019. Yes, next slide. And this is the picture when we do the workshop for the caregiver. We do this in our Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia. It is also last year. And during the COVID-19 pandemic period in Indonesia, older adults are at greater risk of fatal outcomes from COVID-19 infection. So many dental procedures have an increased risk of creating aerosol and thereby spreading the COVID-19 infection. And older adults have less efficient immune system and therefore are more susceptible to emerging infectious disease. Yes, next slide. And in Faculty of Dentistry, then Universitas Indonesia Dental Hospitals service activities carried out by referring to the regulation from the Ministry of Health of Republic Indonesia in April. It is about the dentists only do the emergency cases. And we do the telemedicine or teledentistry and on-call services while we maintaining the patient safety. Next. Yeah. Next. And for the any patient requesting urgent care should first call the dentist in our hospital to assess their clinical urgency and then establish their COVID-19 risk and offer any interim self-care advice and make an appointment for face-to-face assessment if it is really required. And for the community-based program, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we provided the caregiver or family members with dental home care procedures. It is already done before the COVID-19 pandemic. And we also do the online training for the caregivers and teach how they can maintain the oral health of the elderly. And in this new normal condition right now, the Faculty of Dentistry Universitas Indonesia Dental Hospitals already adjust the dental hospital so that we can provide a safety service for the patient, including the elderly patient, because we know that not every treatment can be overcome just by teledentistry. So in some cases, the elderly or the patients should go or should come to the dental hospital to be treated. So we prepare our dental hospital during this pandemic COVID-19 by preparing the health personnel. So every health personnel that work in our dental hospital was testing using rapid test or swab test to we make sure that everything is safe for the patient. And then we also preparing services like guidelines for COVID screening procedures. And also we make adjustment to prepare infrastructure of the dental hospital for control the aerosol and setting the ventilation so that it will control also the aerosol. And yeah. Thank you. That's all that I can share about our geriatric dentistry program in the Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Indonesia. Thank you very much.
It's really amazing. Thank you, Prof. Linda.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you so much, Prof. Linda, for your very interesting and inspiring presentation. Thank you again. And now, audience, we will move to the last but not least speaker in this session. I invite Dr. Yuda Turana, PhD, from School of Medicine, Atma Jaya Catholic University, to deliver a presentation about faculty programs on education, research, and community service in Faculty of Medicine on aging issues. Selamat siang, Dr. Yuda.
Selamat siang, Pak Jainal Abidin.
Ya. Sebelum itu, saya bacakan dulu CV Dr. Yuda.
Thank you.
And as usual, I would like to introduce Dr. Yuda by reading his short CV. Dr. Yuda Turana obtained his medical doctorate from Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Indonesia in 1997 and graduated as neurologist from Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Indonesia in 2005 and finished his PhD from Universitas Indonesia in 2013. He is now Dean School of Medicine at Atma Jaya Catholic University of Indonesia since 2016. He also has Medical and Scientific Advisory Panel Committee, MSEP, Alzheimer Disease International. Dr. Yuda Turana also has more than 33 publications both in the national and international level. Okay, Dr. Yuda Turana, time is yours, and the time about 50 minutes, please.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Jainal Abidin, for introducing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I would like to say thank you also for the committee that already invited me and Atma Jaya in this very nice and wonderful event, and happy also to see all my friends, Prof. Tribudi, Prof. Eve, Prof. Winda, and all friends in this virtual meeting. So maybe the committee can help me to share the PPT. Okay, thank you. Okay, so in this afternoon, I would like to share about the faculty programs on education, research, and community services in Faculty of Medicine on aging issues in our institution, Atma Jaya. Maybe next slide. Okay, in Atma Jaya, our medical school has the strategic plan that focus in urban health, especially in the three leading area, the geriatrics, gerontology, infection, and addiction. For this afternoon, I would like to share about the program in geriatrics and gerontology. Maybe next slide. Okay, so I think almost the same with the other medical school in the program usually for the education about the 6 years, and we have like it's called like the block system, or it's called the system block that from the first year until the fourth years, and left 2 years in the clinical clerkship. So because our excellence in geriatric gerontology and the aging issues, I think the block system since the first year is in line with the topic of around the aging issues, about the aging process, about the physiology, about the anatomy that already introduced in the first year of the program. So in the third year, we also have like the specific program because in line with the internationalization in our Faculty of Medicine, we must have like the one specific block that can connect and collaborate with the university outside Indonesia. So in the third year, we have like it's called the summer school that I think in this month around August, usually running this program. It's called like a block neurogeriatric and dementia. So we have also like the on education, it's called like the Sahabat Dementia or the Dementia Friendship. Usually introduce this program in the clinical clerkship for the medical student, like to feel or to increasing the empathy to become the dementia person. Maybe next slide. This is the picture about the curriculum structure in Atma Jaya in School of Medicine that I said in the first PPT. We have like 6 years. Usually in the first 4 years is called like the preclinical phase of the education, and the last 2 years is called the clinical clerkship. I think almost the same with the other medical school, but I said that because we like promote the program strategy in the aging issue that start in the first year, we already start introduce to the student about the aging process. But usually we start with the structure and normal function in all organ in the aging process. And after 4 years, we focus on the clinical clerkship that I said that the program of the Sahabat Dementia. Maybe next slide. Okay, this is one of the example of the pictures about our module and program. This is the new one. Usually it's called the Neurogeriatrics and Dementia summer school, usually around 5 weeks, that we invite several speakers that expert in dementia, not just only about the cognitive problems, but also the pain assessment in dementia, about the culture, about the social economic issue, about the legal issue. So this is like the interdiscipline approach. Next slide. So how about in the research? In Atma Jaya, this is very important. We put that I said in the first PowerPoint that our strategy program just only in the 3 main project: the infection, the addiction, and also the geriatric and gerontology. So in the aging issue, the staff and the student usually promote like the issue of aging in the research. Like this is the example of several projects that involving to collaborate with the other university, and Atma Jaya also have like the cohort studies. I think start in 2009, is more than 10 years ago until now. We focus only like the elderly about quality of life and the cognitive, and of course the other problems, but the other variables. But we focus only like the variable of cognitive and quality of life, especially. And besides that, we also have like the several intervention studies that I think already running in the first years and until maybe 2 years ahead. And also we have Stride. This is like the big project with the other country in the low middle income countries, maybe running until 2 years ahead, but halt because the pandemic of COVID. And because Atma Jaya in our campus fluid, we have also the academic hospital also. So we call it the Center for Health Development. This is like the unity between the faculty and the academic hospital. We have like have the same strategic things especially in the aging issue. Maybe next slide. Okay, this is just only one example. The research, we have the cohort studies, because as we know, if we talk and discuss about the degenerative disease, especially neurodegenerative disease, until now is no drugs or no treatment is effective, just only slowing the progression. So we must focus on to find the risk factor, to find the lead biomarker. So I think one of the studies that we must have, like the cohort studies. This is like several area in Jakarta in different years, because we consistent in every year. We must focus in the same variables like cognitive and QOL. And I think now is already more than 900 subjects until now. So in this website, we see the ANCC. ANCC is like Atma Jaya Neuroscience Cognitive Center, located in our hospital. This is just only the mapping. So the subject, the data, the source of data, not just only from the community, but also from the hospital. Even this is like different characteristic of subjects, but this is very important in the area of to find the biomarker, to find the risk factor, comparing between the community-based data and the hospital-based data. And we call it the active aging research, Atma Jaya Cognitive and Aging Research. I think already have the collaboration also with the mass study, from the new from the Australia, that we have one paper about the olfactory studies in cognitive decline. Next slide. So this is about the community services in aging issues. Not just only for the education, not just only in the research, but also community service. We focus also in the aging issues, like to support and contribute the age-friendly and dementia city in Jakarta with all the program from the governor of our province, and also collaboration with the NGO like Alzheimer Indonesia, Ministry of Health, and URINDO, and also with the Prof. If, Prof. Rida, and all friends, maybe they join in this virtual event. And also we have the collaboration for the education with the other organization like International Brain Research Organization, usually like the 1 month program that we invite all person that interest in the neuroscience. And we also collaborate with the Alzheimer Disease International. And of course, before the pandemic COVID, we already think about the digital platform, about the online program, because we realized that Indonesia is not just only Jakarta, Indonesia is not just only Surabaya. We, as the big countries, from a lot of island, and the Indonesia is not just only the person who live in Indonesia. So I think to make the unity, to make like distribution the knowledge, I think the very important if we have the digital platform like today. I think it's very happy. I can see all the friends from all of Indonesia at the same time. I think this is like the program that maybe after the pandemic, also the suitable program and very interesting program to promote the aging issues. Also, we have like hospital services that I already shared about the Atma Jaya Neuroscience Cognitive Center. This is the center not just only services, but also for the research. Like we already collaborate like to find several clinical biomarker, like not just only like cognitive assessment to early detection, but also like the gas tracking from the instrument from the computer, and also hope in the future we find the other clinical biomarker as the early detection for the degenerative process in the brain. Maybe next slide. This is just only the example of the pictures, our activity in the aging issue. This is the workshop from the International Dentistry organization. We invite all friends in Indonesia. This is like the free workshop, just only support by the accommodation from all the participants, but no fee for this workshop. Next slide. This is like, I think, become the routine program, especially with the Alzheimer in Asia, especially in the Alzheimer month in next September. Usually we have like the activity like this, but maybe in the future we change to in the online program. Usually we invite all the speaker to talk about the dementia, about the aging issue, about everything that can influence the quality of life of elderly. Next slide. This is one of our program also, because we realized that at that time we invite young generation like to produce or to make the film of dementia education. So because we realize film become like the good media for the education that can fast distribute put in the YouTube and every media, social media. I think in the future the activity like this can enhancing the promotion, the education about the aging issues, especially in young generation. Next slide. This is one example also, the aging issues in the program about aging issues in Atma Jaya, because we have like the museum, and we make like, this is like the virtual things that we can see the education about the brain, the degenerative brain, the dementia, augmented reality. It's called the augmented reality. Everybody can like upload it from the Google Play. Learning by with fun. With you can like take a picture with the brain. You can choose if you want to see about the normal brain, about the aging brain, the Alzheimer brain, and you can check also about your cognitive with fun with this program, augmented reality. Next slide. Okay. Oh yeah. This is like the ALZI Center. We have like the ATSI, Atma Jaya and Alzheimer Indonesia Center in our campus in Semanggi, not in our Faculty of Medicine. This is the symbol that because why we put in the our campus in Semanggi, not in our Faculty of Medicine, because this is a symbol that also this office is not just only for like Faculty of Medicine, because the dementia is the problems, everybody problems, not just only medical problems, but also the economic, the politic, legal issue, psychology problems that I think is better to put in the university, not in the Faculty of Medicine. And why also in Semanggi? Because this is like in the central of Jakarta, because this center is, hope with this center is not just only collaborate ALZI and Atma Jaya, but very happy if every institution can collaborate with this program. And we invite all of you to come to see the office of ALZI Center in Semanggi. Next slide. Okay, this is just only the example that our flyer about the continuing program about the seminar in geriatric is called the Atma Jaya Geriatric meeting. usually this is like the seminar, the interdiscipline. All discipline is come to talk about the aging issue. I think this is the last slide. So hope in the future we can very happy to collaborate with all of you in every institution in the aging issues. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Yuda Turana, for your very interesting presentation and very clear. Audiences, now we are coming to question and answer session. The committee has collected all questions from audiences, and due to the limited time, the committee has chosen some of the questions the committee, could you please share the selected question, please? Hello, Ibu Yuna, could you please? Okay, this question for Prof. Ip. Hello, Prof. Ip, are you there? Prof. Ip. Hello. Hello, Prof. Ip. Do you hear me, Prof. Ip? Okay.
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, I could not unmute myself. Thank you so much for the questions. So basically, how to maintain the emotional levels and the immunity during COVID. Thank you very much. That's a wonderful question, a very good question. And because of the isolation, and we have seen many mental health problems in the elderly. We have also seen that the majority of the people who died of COVID in the UK had dementia as comorbidity. So it is very important that we do not neglect the Lancia with dementia, because this is a huge problem of comorbidity. Also, the excess death rate in people who did not have COVID was caused by probably a delay in care to people with dementia. So it is very, very important to make sure that in the care homes, people pay special attention, I think, to the people with dementia, to keep on engaging with them. Dr. Yuda Turana and his team have got a fantastic program, the cognitive stimulation therapy, which we can do social distancing with masks, which I think is very, very important to keep doing, because this is a neglected group. The other question is about tempeh versus tofu. Well, in Oxford, we found that if people had adequate folate in their bloods, even though the elderly might have had high levels of estrogens, maybe folate allowed a beneficial effect of the estrogen. So we have found in the studies that neurons that are damaged are additionally affected by estrogens unless folate is present. So this is one possibility. Because of the fermentation of the tempeh, we find more folate, more B12. Maybe it offsets the negative estrogenic effects in the elderly. The other thing, as a paper by Dr. Yuda Tirana showed, was that the tempeh also, of course, has probiotic effects. We know that there is a beneficial association between the gut and the brain. So it could also be that this is why tempeh affects, because of the fermentation itself and the pre and probiotic effects of tempeh. And it could also be, as Dr. Atikridawati showed, in that that it is because it reduces the plaques. So the plaques themselves in the brain occur far before we see the cognitive decline. Yeah, so it could be these different reasons. We hope to continue to investigate this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your answer. Okay, bro. And the next, please, the next question. Yes, this question for Prof. Linda. Please, Prof. Linda.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Zainal, about how old someone can be grouping as geriatric, because I mentioned around 60 or 70, yes. For the elderly, it is more than 60, we call it the elderly patient, but for the geriatric, we grouping elderly patient if they have the age of more than 60, but they also have they have two or more systemic disease or disabilities, so we group them as a geriatric patient. And also if the patient is more than 70, but they have one or more systemic disease or disabilities, so we group them as geriatric dentistry. So as geriatric patient, I mean. So why we group this patient like this? Because if the elderly is healthy, so they can be treated in our regular clinic, in our dental hospital, because they are healthy. But if they are grouped as the geriatric patient, they have to be treated in the geriatric clinic, because we have to do the overall assessment of the geriatric condition of this patient. And because to treat the oral condition or oral problem or the dental problems cannot be solved just only by treating the oral health or oral problems, but we also have to look into the geriatric or the overall condition of the geriatric patient. So, and the treatment for this kind of patient, not only for the dental problems, but also we have to do the interdisciplinary and also multidisciplinary approach to give a treatment for this kind of patient. I hope this will clear the issue, the question from the Widowati from University of Malaya. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer, Prof. Linda. And the next question, please.
Is there? It is also for me, the number 2. Yeah.
Yes, number 2 for you.
Yeah. Is there already collaboration with home cares, or there will be regular visit to check elderly, include their teeth and give treatment for them? Yes. Thank you. We have already have a collaboration with some of home care, and also with institution or foundation for the special need patient. But yeah, because of this pandemic situation, we cannot continue this program, but only do the online workshop or for the caregivers. But we will continue this program after the condition is safe again. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Linda. Okay, committee, please. Another question for Hello, Bu Yuna. Please. Bu Yuna. Thank you, Prof. Linda.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Question for Prof. Sudianto and Dr. Yuda. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Maybe loading, Bapak.
Okay. Hello. Okay, saya pas. I correction Professor Sudianto Kamso.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Actually, I noted 3 questions, not only one. First, from Bu Susiana, she is asking about, is there any plan from Faculty of Public Health, University of Indonesia to open study program of gerontology? I think we are now still in discussing this idea, and I think we are on the way to this situation. Yeah, but we don't know when it will be realized, the realization of this program. But we are now on this topic, and I have 2 others question, Pak Zainal.
Yes.
The others is from Burodiah Suharti from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
From Burodiah. Yeah. She asks about this latent TB infection. Is it could transmit to others? Yeah. Latent TB is the condition of TB that is still inactive, but the bacteria is in a human body. The problem if the immune status of the human that is decreasing, then it could be infected to or transmit to others people. So there is a possibility when the immunity of the person is decreasing. And the third question is from Ahmad Bayu. Is it possible from technical field joining the program of public health from the first degree, from the bachelor to master program? Is it that is possible? But maybe that you have to follow first the matriculation. But it is possible. It is possible. Yeah. And the second from his question is that. Is there any course of nutrition if we will select the what is the technical nutrition? Yeah, we have some courses in nutrition that is related with the technology and processing, so that you can choose whether you join the public health program. Thank you, Pak Jaina.
Thank you very much, Professor Sudianto Kamso. Kamita, please, the next question for Dr. Yuda Turana, please. Hello, Ibu Yuna, do you hear me? Ibu Yuna, please share the next question. Okay. Question for Dr. Yuda, please, Dr. Yuda.
Do you have any research on dementia awareness in community? Yes, maybe one of the paper I think just published in this July. The study in Jogja with the survey meter Buayan. We have like the very interesting study in Yogyakarta, because this is almost 2,000 subjects, and very interesting in this study because we asked about the 10 signs of dementia, especially about whether the memory problem is the normal or is a part of dementia. Just only less than 10% of the caregiver that who have the elderly with dementia know about that. So this is just only less than 10%. So I think this is our duty to all of us, like because we can make the conclusion, the awareness, the knowledge about the sign of dementia is very low, especially in low education level. So I think this meeting, like this virtual meeting and education continuously to this group, I think is very important from learn from this study in the future. That's my I think the last study, but I'm sure also a lot of study about the awareness. One study I think around 1 month ago, the study from my friend Ibu Mariam, I think it's very interesting study also about awareness of dementia. But I think the one research to the other research that so far that I know, I think the same result, that awareness of dementia is still low in Indonesia. That's my answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Yuda Turana, for your answer. Okay, I think it is question and answer session has finished, and now I would like to make conclusion of the seminar. Yes, from the result of presentation and discussion, it can be concluded as follows. The first, the development of aging sciences has been implemented at Faculty of Public Health, Faculty of Medicine, and Faculty of Dentistry through research on aging issues, curriculum development, scientific work of clinical practice on undergraduate and specialist program, besides thesis and dissertation in the doctoral and master program. In the field of health sciences, program in public health, dentistry, and medicine will be very important to be promoted by respective faculties. And the issue in the future in healthy aging is potentially dementia, dental problem. The fourth, collaboration among universities, both in national level and international level, is needed to be developed to realize age-friendly university, especially in education, research, community service. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end of the session. Thank you so much for all extraordinary speakers for joining us in this webinar and for the excellent presentation and inspiring presentation. Thank you so much. And thank you so to all participants and audiences for joining us. And we do hope we will meet again in the next webinar. Okay, thank you very much. Again, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for Mr. Zainal Abidin, MSc, as a moderator, Professor Ibu Gervos, Professor Sudianto Kamso, Professor Linda Kusdani, and Dr. Yuda Turana for the discussion and interesting webinar. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue the next agenda. That session will lead by moderator Dr. Laila Ulfa. I will introduce Dr. Laila Ulfa, is a lecturer of Public Health Nutrition in Faculty of Health Sciences, University of Respati, Indonesia. Members of association organizations, ADI, Pergizi, Jakarta, and IAPMI. Her education background, bachelor degree, Faculty of Public Health, Universitas Indonesia, Master Degree Public Health Science, URINDO, Doctoral Degree Public Health Science, Universitas Indonesia. research field, public health, nutrition, and elderly. And now, Dr. Laila Ulfa, please, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Mbak Tia. Oh ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat siang, Bapak dan Ibu semua. I am Laila Ulfa, as a moderator in this panel session. First of all, I would like to thank to Professor Tribudi Weraharjo as Rector URINDO. Thanks for giving me the opportunity as moderator in this event. And thanks to all our great speakers in this webinar. And also to all of participants, thanks for joining in this webinar entitled Age-Friendly University Elderly Health Perspectives. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in this panel session, we already have 3 speakers. The first speaker is Ibu Dr. Ati Kridawati. Selamat siang, Ibu Ati.
Siang, Ibu.
The second is Ibu NS Fajar Susanti MK. Selamat siang, Ibu Fajar. Are you here? Ibu Fajar? Ibu Fajar, are you here? Oh, suaranya kecil sekali, Bu Fajar. Baik, terima kasih, Bu Fajar. The last is Dr. Ari Waluyo, SPOG Mas. Selamat siang, Dr. Ari Waluyo. Halo, Dr. Ari. Halo, Dr. Ari.
Selamat siang. Bisa jelas suara saya bisa terdengar?
Oh ya, bisa. Terima kasih, Dr. Ari. Baik. Okay, before that, I would like to inform that in this panel session, we have discussion section after the presentation. To all participants, if you have any question, please write down in the chat room. Don't forget, mention to whom the question is addressed. Jadi tolong disebutkan pertanyaan ditujukan kepada siapa nanti ya. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, for beginning the presentation, I would like to welcome the first speaker. She is Ibu Dr. Ati Kridawati. Ibu Ati Kridawati is an associate professor of public health and nutrition in the public health graduate program URINDO. And she also did her PhD at Human Nutrition Science from IPB on the effect of tempeh and tofu flour on abdominal fat, estrogen serum, amyloid beta serum, and cognitive function in ovarectomized female rats. And she also has a research collaboration with Professor Hugo Vos from Loughborough University from 2008 until now. They got funds from the British Council and Newton Fund and also published together in some reputation journals. In this session, Ibu Dr. Ati will talk about gerontic nutrition. As we know that gerontic nutrition is a part of important aspect of aging and health. So we have to know how to ensure nutrient adequacy in elderly. Ibu Ati, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Bu Ati. All right, Bu Ati, you have 15 minutes. Please, time of yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Bu Ulfa.
Ya, sama-sama, Bu Ati. Welcome.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will presentation about gerontic nutrition. Gerontic nutrition is part of nutrition for the elderly. Next, please. Next, yes. The elderly is a group of vulnerable to nutrition and health problems. The elderly is decreased immunity, so it is easy to become infected with viruses and bacteria. And the elderly is have some degenerative disease problem. Next. This is a food pyramid for elderly. The elderly need the calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin B12 as a supplement. Not all people need this. and use the saturated trans and trans fat and sugar, and this is not really much, yeah. And there's a low and non-fat dairy products, 3 or more serving, and dairy beans and nuts, fish, poultry, land meat, eggs, need 2 or more servings. And then the elderly need the deep colored fruit, 2 or more serving, such as apple, and then grape, and etc. And they need the bright colored vegetable, need 3 or more serving. The elderly need to whole and rich and fortified grains and cereal. This 6 or more serving, but the last they need water or liquid, 8 or more serving. Next. Yes. This is a nutritional adequate rate for 50 plus for male. The age for 50 until 64 need the 2,150 energy, and they in 65 until 80 years they need 1,800 kilocalorie energy, and this is a nutritional adequate for male. Next. And the female, we can see not the same for male. There's a less than male. Next. Yes, this is my plate for elderly, and in Indonesia we call isi piringku. We can see this is a carbohydrate. This is lauk pauk. Lauk pauk is meat, and then tempe, tofu, yes. And this is buah-buahan. Buah-buahan is fruits, and this is sayuran, vegetable. And we need to physical activity, and adequate for water, and we always clean hand. Next. Yes, this is a source for carbohydrate, and then this is fat, and this is a protein. Next. Yes, it's a vitamin A, the source of vitamin A, and then this is a vitamin C, papaya, mangga, jambu, tomat, and then strawberry, and then source of vitamin D. This is ikan, fish, cereal, milk, susu, and sinar matahari, the sunrise. And source of vitamin E is the papaya, and then this is avocado. Yeah. alpukat, brokoli, cabai, sili, dan masih banyak lagi. Next. Next, Mas. Yes. Mineral, some mineral need for elderly. This is zinc for to improve the immunity for elderly. Jadi untuk meningkatkan imunitas tubuh untuk lansia, yaitu misalnya daging, kemudian biji-bijian, kemudian kerang juga bagus. Walaupun kita harus pilih-pilih tempat ya untuk kerang itu, kalau di Jakarta karena terlalu banyak industri di Jakarta, jadi sebaiknya jangan terlalu banyak mengkonsumsi kerang. Kemudian baik juga kita untuk lansia itu adalah konsumsi selenium. Jadi this is a source of selenium, is a broccoli, and then white meat atau misalnya adalah ayam ya, ayam. Kemudian garlic atau bawang putih, susu, telur. Kemudian makanan mengandung besi juga bagus untuk lansia. Ini contohnya adalah daging, red meat. Kemudian hati, liver, and then ikan, fish. Kemudian kerang, kacang merah atau red bean, bayam, kacang-kacangan, grain ya. Kemudian kentang juga bagus. Next. Ya. Untuk meningkatkan daya tahan tubuh juga lansia membutuhkan cukup air, konsumsi cukup air dan prebiotik serta probiotik yang bisa didapatkan dari Yakult, kemudian dari yogurt, kemudian juga bisa dari tempe. Jadi tadi seperti Prof. If sampaikan, bahwa untuk meningkatkan kesehatan lansia, khususnya untuk pencernaan, itu juga bagus mengkonsumsi tempe, dan itu pun akan berpengaruh terhadap memori untuk lansia. Next. Ya. Nah, ini adalah diet. Jadi beberapa diet untuk lansia, yaitu for lansia with dyslipidemia, itu harus mengurangi butter fat, yaitu mentega, kemudian susu, krim, keju, dan mengurangi juga reduce animal fat, yaitu untuk beef, yaitu untuk red meat ya. Kemudian daging kambing ya, kemarin mungkin banyak makan daging kambing, hati-hati untuk lansia yang dyslipidemia. Kemudian chicken atau daging ayam. Dan untuk lansia dengan obesity itu harus diet dengan very low calorie diet, yaitu 800 kilokalori kebutuhannya selama 12 sampai 16 minggu. Ini kalau yang obesity-nya cukup parah ya. Kemudian untuk yang lebih ringan lagi itu bisa diet 1000 sampai 1200 kilokalori atau yang disebut dengan low calorie diet untuk selama 24 minggu sampai 5 tahun. Dan untuk for elderly with diabetes mellitus konsumsi karbohidrat juga hanya 55 sampai 70% dari yang di AKG ya, atau angka kecukupan gizinya. Jadi ini proteinnya juga hanya 15 sampai 20% dibatasi, dan untuk lemaknya juga hanya 20 sampai 30%. Jadi harus strict ya untuk yang menderita diabetes. Dan sebaiknya meningkatkan konsumsi buah dan sayur, terutama yang mengandung vitamin A dan vitamin C. Jadi increase your intake of fruit and vegetable sources. vitamin A, and vitamin C. Next. Ya, khusus yang untuk hipertensi, sebaiknya mengkonsumsi low fat skim milk, kemudian potatoes atau kentang ya, brown rice. Jadi konsumsinya beras merah ya. Jadi kalau bisa memang beras merah yang dikonsumsi. Jadi bukan pakai beras putih lagi ya, tapi sebaiknya pakai beras merah. Kemudian kacang merah dan bananas atau pisang. Kemudian membatasi makanan yang kaleng, makanan kaleng atau canned food. Jadi misalnya sarden ya, sarden yang yang kalengan itu, kemudian makanan-makanan kaleng lainnya. Kemudian di sini juga membatasi high in fat, jadi yang makanan-makanan yang mengandung lemak tinggi dan alkohol. Dan membatasi juga salmon juga seperti itu. Jadi salmon, sarden dan makarel itu yang cukup tinggi juga ya untuk natriumnya. Next. Ya, ini adalah beberapa publikasi yang kami sudah yang sudah kami buat. Jadi ada 45 tesis, sekitar 45 tesis terkait lansia dan 20 penelitian multidisiplin. Jadi tidak hanya dari aspek kesehatan, tapi dari aspek ekonomi, kemudian dari aspek sosial, itu kami juga mendalami untuk penelitiannya. Dan kami juga sudah mencapai ada 7 publikasi internasional dengan berindeks fokus Q1. Kebetulan untuk yang publikasi yang Q1 ini kebanyakan memang yang terkait tempe. Prof. If, halo Prof. If. Mungkin ya, kebetulan untuk publikasi yang terkait tempe ini kami kolaborasi dengan Loughborough University. Jadi Prof. If yang bekerja dari Loughborough University, in charge-nya Prof. If bekerja sama dengan kami terkait penelitian tentang tempe dan demensia. Jadi kami sudah mendapatkan beberapa hibah, yaitu dari mulai tahun 2010 hibah kolaborasi internasional dari UI, dari DRPM UI dengan peneliti utamanya Prof. Tribudi, kemudian saya sebagai co-nya, kemudian tahun 2014 sampai 2016 kami mendapatkan penelitian dari Newton Fund, dari British Council ya, dari British Council tentang tempe juga, penelitian tempe, dan tahun 2016 sampai 2018 dilanjutkan lagi Newton Fund. Dan kami juga tahun 2019 kemarin masuk sebagai kandidat proposal yang masuk, 5 proposal yang masuk untuk ditandingkan di kompetisi ya, secara kompetisi ada 5 proposal terbaik yang dipertandingkan atau untuk mendapatkan Newton Prize waktu itu. Jadi salah satunya adalah proposal kami dengan Prof. Ivogervos dan Prof. Tribudi. Next. Ya, conclusion. Jadi di sini kami simpulkan bahwa elderly will always be healthy if they consume food with balanced nutrition, including adequate physical activity. Jadi lansia akan selalu sehat jika mereka mengonsumsi makanan dengan gizi yang seimbang dan beragam, termasuk juga melakukan aktivitas fisik yang cukup. Next. Thank you for your attention. Terima kasih Bu Ulfa.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Ati, for your brief presentation. From this presentation, we learn about nutrient adequacy for elderly and also diet for the elderly. But I think the problem is that many older people have difficulty to get enough nutrient, maybe because of too many factors such as chronic medical condition, change of metabolism, and also about financial maybe. So this is the challenge to keep elderly healthy. Thank you, Ibu Ati. Okay, now we move to the next speaker, Ibu Fajar Susanti MK. Ibu Fajar Susanti did her Master of Nursing from URINDO, and she is member of PPNI and IPGERI, and she also has a lot of experience in conducting training on nursing. Experience as a superintendent of nurse competency and also as item development as well as if you were for test of competency of health worker. As her competency, Ibu Fajar will present about gerontic nursing, the role of a nurse in the implementation of healthcare for the elderly. Okay, Ibu Fajar, are you ready? Siap, Bu Fajar.
Okay, thank you to the moderator for giving the opportunity to present. Before I'm the present the topic the role of nurse in the implementation of healthcare for the elderly, I want to explain about the nursing professional practice program in URINDO. This focuses on elderly clients with actual risk and potential health problems and to improve the quality of life of clients, both for individual, families, group, and community that can be provided to clients at home, elderly homes, and hospital. And then opportunity for gerontic nursing, not only in the hospital, but doing independent practice, home care, or opening a clinic. This is explain the program nursing in Indonesia in URINDO. And then I want to explain legal basis of elderly handling. This constitutional number 4. Constitutional 1945 pasal 27 ayat 2 and pasal 13.4 constitutional number 4 year 109,000 16.5 regarding the provision of assistance for parents' livelihood. And then constitutional number 5, the year 109,017 regarding the main point of government in the regions. Presidential decree number 44, the year 1917 for. And number 6, the year 1974 regarding the basic profession of social welfare. And this is that can be seen that there was a significant increase between 2008 until shaded of non-communicable disease. Therefore, it is important in maintaining health from an elderly non-communicable disease such as heart disease or DM. Can you see this is the color communicable mortal disease and colon injury. This increasing burden of chronic non-communicable disease. Okay, next, next slide, please. Next slide. And then prevalence of chronic disease and disability among men and women is 20 until 74 therapy. This following in intense meditation, prayer, yoga, massage therapy, listening to music, and engagement in activity that are set that heart rate and blood pressure. So when and dietary fiber have been shown that three reduction and thus lower the risk of developing coronary heart disease. So products can be incorporated.
Halo, Ibu Fajar. Halo, Ibu Fajar. Halo, Bu Fajar. Maybe some error about network ya. I'm sorry, maybe we wait. Ibu Fajar. We sorry from this inconvenience. Halo Bu Fajar. Bu Fajar. Can you hear me, Bu Fajar?
Shall we move to another presenter, Mbak Ulfa? Maybe Bu Fajar will get back.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the internet trouble. Want to continue? Okay, and then fiber found in our brain, apple, citrus, and wood grain products is particularly effective in reducing cholesterol. Consumption of fish oil and ingestion of omega-3 fatty acid also have been shown to reduce cholesterol level, prompting the recommendation by the American Heart Association that fatty fish, mackerel like trout, herring, sardine, tuna, and salmon be eating at least 2 times a week. Okay, next slide. The complementary therapies, the student practice in the community follow implementasi complementary dan alternative therapy, and this is exercise of elderly in elderly homes. Okay, next. Next. This potential impact of lifestyle modification, this weight reduction, kemudian recommendation potential impact of systolic blood pressure. This recommendation active maintenance normal BMI between 22 and 25 kilogram meter square. Potential impact of systolic blood pressure 5 until 13 gram. And then the dietary sodium intake recommendation reduce sodium intake to 2.4 gram per day, and potential impact of systolic blood pressure 2 until 8 millimeter Hg. And physical activity, 30 minutes or aerobic activity per day, most day of the week. Potential effect 4 until 9 millimeter Hg. Moderation of alcohol intake. Recommendationnya limit consumption to no more than 2 drink than in woman. Potential impactnya 2 until 4 millimeter Hg. And can you see the picture in the nurse student in practice community elderly? Okay, next. Non-communicable disease, diabetes mellitus and diabetic foot, physical activity and exercise significantly improve nerve healthy condition in the lower limb, peripheral sensory function, and foot peg pressure distribution. Result of this study so that multidisciplinary treatment such as physical activity, diet routine, and food care education improvement of diabetic foot outcomes. And the conclusion of this systematic review is that exercise is a beneficial non-pharmacological treatment delay the usual course of diabetic peripheral neuropathy and delay skin defect and ulceration. This is the picture the nurse student in the practice exercise food in the community, and the implementasi the focus implementasi nursing is the complementary or therapy alternative therapy. And next. This is chronic care. The implementation, the elderly home. This next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. Please. Okay. And then this the integument, the skin prevention and management of skin care. Number one, as a list, set to prevent sharing injury. Do not ask any pulling or sliding movement when assisting older adult with a change in their position. Protect in older adult by padding any surface that come in contact with leg and arm movements such as side rail, wheelchair arm in leg support, and table corner. Keep the environment free of obstacles and will it avoid hard soft, keep skin moist with adequate fluids, keep fingernails and tools cut short and fail to inflicted skin tear. Apply skin moisturizing cream to arm the legs with treat daily. Use paper tip and remove it costly or substitute for tape with gauze of stockinette. Wear long sleeves and long pants to add a layer of protection for the skin. Using word for treatment of musculoskeletal problem. Please, please next slide. Please, please next slide. Okay. And then now pharmacological treatment of musculoskeletal problems, musculoskeletal improvement at home. You can walk on this around the house and stand on one foot at a time for as long as possible. Exercise routinely find activity you like and find a partner to do them well. Implement health eating habit and at home their activity will decrease risk for failing by improving balance. Exercise routinely having a schedule with the friend improve your chance of keeping fit. Implementing health eating weight loss decrease risk of osteoarthritis. Okay, next slide. And then treatment for urinary incontinence, lifestyle modification, smoking cessation, the schedule folding regimen, time folding, Kegel exercise, fisheries, and elevated toilet steps. Weight reduction from teeth, feeding, biofeedback, condom, catheter, get training, lifestyle modification, bowel management, bladder training, electrical stimulation, external clamp or uretal plugs, modification coating, coefficient reduction, absorbed fat of undergarment, and appropriate food intake. Okay, next. This is the group therapy exercise in the elderly home. Kegel exercise. This is Kegel exercise, very effective. The incontinence urine. Okay. Can you see the sleep and rest? Again, the problem in elderly and nursing intervention. Number one, the gerontological nurse carefully measure the older patient blood pressure, pulse, height, and weight. Sleep hygiene refers to the light activity that interferes with the maintenance of good quality sleep and the daytime alertness. And three, if the nighttime environment is too hot or cold, portable air conditioner or heaters may be appropriate. And four, airplug may is nighttime nurse and provide education about the danger of nicotine and alcohol, exercise like walking and stretching shall be recommended but not before bedtime. And seven, multiple long naps shall be avoided because exercise daytime sleep and boredom may interfere with nighttime sleep. And eight, activity, hobbies, and special interests shall be raised. This is all the nursing intervention, the problem sleep of rest elderly. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, heart aging tape. This stay considered during the daytime, staying active and ages keep you from needing and expect positive energy. Stay positive if you are depressed, treatment and talk to someone getting worried and care of your shoulder can improve your sleep. And then exercise regularly. Exercise early in the day. Exercise releases endorphin and other helpful biochemical that reduce stress and anxiety. Limit caffeine, alcohol, and other stimulants. Their substance can disrupt sleep the stay in the body for many hours and get a few minutes of sunlight every day. Bright sunlight help regulate melatonin and coordinate your sleep-wake cycle. Okay, next slide. This is tips heart aging and this practice complementary and alternative therapy in the community or elderly home. This exercise ROM, range of motion. And next slide. This in the community nurse studies implementation heart education ROM. Okay, next slide. 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 This practice in the elderly home, physical mobilization exercise, motion. Next. Next. This the craft activity in the elderly home and community. Next. This is the leisure activity and elderly thing. Next. Next. Male care in the elderly. This is the care and gardening activity in elderly. Next. Thank you very much. The finish my presentation.
Thank you, Ibu Fajar. Thank you very much for your presentation. It is very important information. From this presentation, we will know how to care the elderly with their health problem and also how to keep elderly health. Okay, we continue to the next speaker. The last speaker is Dr. Ari Waluyo. Dr. Ari is a lecturer and researcher both in Faculty of Health Science and in Diploma 3 Midwifery Program in URINDO. He graduated from medical doctor from Faculty of Medicine UI, and now he is candidate of social obstetric and gynecologist consultant Pajajaran University. And also he is a member of various association organizations such as ED, OGI, HOXI, and Kesindo. Related with his expert, Dr. Ari will talk about elderly reproductive health as part of a life course approach to enhance elderly health. Dr. Ari, are you ready?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you have 15 minutes, Doc. Thank you.
My voice clear?
Clear, Prof. Doc. Sorry.
Internet connection unstable.
Oh yeah, it's okay.
I turned off my video. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, please. It's okay, Prof. Doc.
This is the slide. In my session, I will to present the reproductive health for the seniors. Slide. I think this is important things because according to the Susenas 2014, the number of senior in Indonesia is around 20.24 million. It's around 8.3% from the total population. And our country, Indonesia, is highest senior citizen number in the world. Yeah, and in Indonesia, from the data, we have the increasing life expectancy rates. Now we have the average rates in for the age 71 years old, and the woman has a life expectancy is higher than men's. Yeah, for men is only 69 years old, and average for the woman is the 73 years old. So because the more woman has a long life, so the reproductive health problems become in elderly life. To become a healthy senior citizen, is every person is a right. From the WHO classification, we call it the lansia dini, yeah, early from 66 to 79 years old, and lansia elderly from the 80 years old to 99 years old, and lansia lanjut, yeah, more than 99 years old. Slide. This is the phase of a woman life. Yeah. Average age for the menopause is 50 years old. Before menopause, they through the premenopause phase, and after that, they will through the postmenopause phase. Slide. Climacterium and menopause, that's the reproductive health problem in elderly people due to the reduction of hormone and ovarian function. And also the multi-organ effects. Slide. This is the picture how the hormone, especially estrogen, getting irregular. Yeah. Especially in perimenopausal transition, perimenopausal phases. So the woman, many women get symptoms of the menopause, start to get symptoms. And after that, then the hormone falling down. So the woman come to the menopause, post-menopause phases. Slide. This is the menopausal symptoms timeline. After the menopause, woman has a symptom and like a vaginal discomfort, bladder discomfort, heart disease, and osteoporosis. This is a timeline. Yeah, slide. Climacterium is the transition phase that starts at the end of the reproduction stage and ends in the beginning of senium stage. And menopause is the no menstruation for the 12 consecutive months without physiologies and pathological causes. But many women doesn't know about the terminology. If they had a symptom, they think they get menopause, and they said to her husband or her son, "I get menopause." It's wrong. Menopause is no menstruation for the 12 consecutive months without such physiologies and pathological causes. Slide. Menopause is the condition medical and non-medical. This has a challenges in a medical situation, hormonal change and reduction, especially estrogen, and non-medical condition can make a psychosocial and related to the culture. This is two factors. Yeah. First, the endocrinologist changes can makes the urogenital disorder, vasomotor disorder, and vegetative disorder. And age cause degenerative changes, osteoporosis and cardiovascular disease, and results the clinical complaints. Slide. First says that menopause for the American woman is losing their beauty and reproductive ability. The emptiness syndromes is common in Western, a condition where they feel worthless and useless, not needed by husband and children. Next slide. There are too many stereotypes, classic and modern stereotype in menopause. In classic stereotype, women with menopause are not attractive physically and personality, gloomy, overweight, gray hair and wrinkle, not attractive. But now, in more common in modern stereotype, menopause is still become more active, still productive, and maintain attractiveness. Eastern culture in perspective, menopause is process that needs to be seen as a natural aging process toward maturity and wisdom instead of a process of losing beauty. Next slide. This is the history and journey of menopause. In 1963, some experts considered menopause women as an abnormal due to estrogen deficiency, then could accomplish in further problems. So they think the estrogen replacement therapy. They come up with the estrogen replacement therapy. To solve the problem, they think. And more common is Feynman forever. They use the estrogen replacement therapy. In 1975, more publication comes with the danger and side effect of estrogen replacement therapy. So they think to change the to hormone replacement therapy, yeah, or combine estrogen and progesterone. So they call the hormone replacement therapy. In 1981, World Health Organization consensus on how menopause is part of normal aging process that does not require routine intervention or therapy unless on medical indication. In 2001, Women Health Initiative finding on the effect of long-term hormone replacement therapy implementation, like cardiovascular disease, breast cancer, and dementia, like a speaker said before. What is the hormone replacement therapy? It's a selective. Before we do or treat the patient with the hormone replacement therapy, we have to select them. Patient screening. Breast cancer is contraindication. Another contraindication like endometrium cancer, liver function disorder, thromboemboli, coronary arterial disease is the contraindication for the hormone replacement therapy. And every woman with the hormone replacement therapy must do the routine lab and ancillary examination, like a US ultrasound examination, mammography, and pap smear. Slide. It's very interesting. Ivan Illich said the unnatural occurrence could not directly be medicalized. Fair proportion of attention on physical-social aspect are also required. So, to do, effort to form positive perception and attitude among health worker and society. Preventive measure to proactively maintain health and vitality, like a routine exercise, reduce caffeine, cigarette and alcohol intake, balanced diet based on latest health condition, like the speaker before me said, take vitamin and supplement, hormone therapy based on correct indication, not a routine condition, and routine health checkup. Slide. This is the take-home message. First, reproductive health problems in elderly are closely related to climacterium and menopause. Menopause is a natural process and highly related to psychosocial factors. 3, biophysical-social or holistic approach is the method to deal with the menopause and reproductive health in elderly people. 4, interprofession collaboration is needed in elderly reproductive health management. Okay, thank you. This is my presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ari. Your presentation is very useful. From this presentation, we summarize that menopause is not only medical, but also non-medical problem. So to manage elderly reproductive health, it needs interprofession collaboration. Thank you, Dr. Ari. Okay, now we continue to the session question and answers. And now we already have some questions from participants. Yeah, the first question is to Ibu Dr. Ati and Ibu Fajar. But Dr. Ari, you can add the information if needed. I think. Yeah, thank you. Ibu Ati, pertanyaannya adalah nomor 1 dulu ya, Bu Ati. Apakah sayur atau buah yang tumbuh di tanah pasca tumbang dapat menyebabkan konsumen menderita penyakit akut mineral tanpa proses normalisasi? Ya, mungkin dijawab dulu Bu Ati, nomor 1.
Ya, baik. Terima kasih Bu. Jadi tanaman yang tumbuh di tambang, ya di daerah tambang, itu memang banyak sekali kandungan mineral yang dibutuhkan oleh tanaman tersebut untuk tumbuh, itu banyak sekali yang hilang. Dan banyak sekali dia mengandung logam-logam berat ya, dan dia punya potensial untuk terjadinya kekurangan dari kualitas dan kuantitas dari tanah tersebut, dan bisa juga menyebabkan beberapa masalah kesehatan. Jadi sebaiknya memang untuk tanaman yang akan ditanam di tempat tambang, daerah tambang, sebaiknya tanah tersebut dinormalisasi dulu sebelum ditanam ditanam sayuran tersebut. Terima kasih, Bu.
Ya. Pertanyaan berikutnya untuk Bu Ati, apakah ada makanan yang higienis dan murah yang bisa dikonsumsi oleh lansia?
Ya, kalau makanan yang higienis dan murah itu sebetulnya tempe itu sangat higienis ya. Dari proses pembuatannya saja itu dia akan melalui proses fermentasi, di mana proses fermentasi itu akan mengeluarkan panas dan banyak kandungan gizi yang bisa masuk pada saat setelah proses fermentasi tersebut, sehingga saya kira tempe itu termasuk healthy food ya, dan murah meriah harganya, semua masyarakat pasti bisa terjangkau untuk membelinya. Saya kira itu. Dan kami juga sudah membuktikan bahwa tempe juga bagus untuk mencegah terjadinya demensia. Jadi bukan mengobati ya, mencegah terjadinya demensia. Jadi dari awal, dari muda sudah mulai makan tempe sampai nanti pas menopause segala macam, kita masih makan tempe, itu akan bagus sekali untuk memaintain estrogen, kemudian sehingga terjadinya demensia itu bisa didelay, jadi ditunda ya. Walaupun pasti nanti ada penurunan kognitif tapi tidak tajam. Jadi untuk mengurangi penurunan kognitif yang tajam pada saat kita kehilangan estrogen. Itu, Pak.
Ya, thank you. Terima kasih Bu Ati.
Ya, sama-sama.
Ada satu pertanyaan yang bisa dijawab untuk Ibu Fajar dan Ibu Ati, ini untuk keduanya. Saran apa yang bisa diberikan kepada lansia terkait dengan untuk pemenuhan kebutuhan nutrisi, terutama di masa pandemi COVID?
Ya, kalau untuk dari segi gizi, memang lansia sebaiknya makan makanan yang bergizi, berimbang, dan beragam. Jadi jangan terlalu banyak juga ya. Misalnya saya suka bayam, tiap hari makan bayam, gitu ya. Itu tidak baik juga gitu ya. Jadi sebaiknya memang beragam juga. Hari ini makan bayam, besok makan brokoli, kemudian sayur asem, makan tempe, makan ikan. Jadi beragam dan seimbang ya, seimbang, dan porsinya juga sesuai. Jadi jangan terlalu banyak juga gitu. Porsinya sesuai. Jadi ditambah juga dengan harus melakukan aktivitas fisik. Walaupun aktivitas fisik untuk lansia juga jangan yang terlalu berat ya. Yang terlalu berat juga nanti akan mengakibatkan gangguan kesehatan pada lanjut usia.
Ya, thank you Ibu Ati. Ibu Fajar or Dr. Ari, if you want to add the information, please.
Okay. I want to the answer. Food consumed in the home, the sample food frequency, fruit, variety juice, fresh, connect of frozen type, orange, cannot free, per day, 4 ounces, and per week, 1 cup. This and then vegetable, variety green order type, variety carrot, and per week 1 deal or carrot 1 per week. And dairy meal low fat per day 2 cup and or less 1 month. Cheese and yogurt never. And then protein animals, poultry or fish, egg night, and the plant hummus beans 1 deal per week. And fat saturated butter 1 deal 2 fats, And then fruit, this general water for us with meat per day. This is my answer. Thank you.
Okay, Ibu Fajar. Dr. Ari, could you want to add maybe?
No, it's enough.
Okay, thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, because of limited time, we apologize to close this panel session. But before we close, from three presentations, we can conclude that to maintain elderly health requires adequacy and balanced nutrition, healthcare, and education help for elderly. So interprofession collaboration is needed in elderly health management. I think URINDO as a friendly aging campus can contribute through education.
Mute, Ulfa.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Ibu Dr. Ati, Ibu Fajar, and Dr. Ari for your excellent presentation. Big applause for all our speakers. Hopefully, the information that we have shared today would be useful for all of us. And finally, I apologize for inconvenience in this session. To all participants, thank you very much for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I return to MC.
Thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Laila Ulfa as moderator, Dr. Ati Kridawati, Nurse Fajar Susanti, dan Dr. Ali Waluyo for the discussion and interesting webinar. Thank you so much. Finally, we came to the end session of the international webinar. Thank you to all speakers, moderator, Respati Foundation, academician college for the great support and for all the participants. To close the program, let's recite Hamdalah together.
Alhamdulillah.
Finally, from the deepest of my heart, I do apologize for my mistake in presenting this event. Thank you very much for participating in today's webinar. We hope to see you again next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mohon untuk berfoto sebentar, Mas Izi atau yang lain bisa mengambil gambar sebentar, perlu diaktifkan video yang masih tersisa.
Silakan diaktifkan.
Iya.
Supaya bisa.
Langsung dihitung ya, Mas Izi.
Ya, siap. Oke, 1, 2, 3. Oke, lagi 1, 2, 3. Tadi sudah di Malioboro, tapi ada 1, 2, 3. Lagi sesi keempat ada sesi 1, 2, 3.
Foto ya, Mas? Foto enggak?
Iya, sedang foto, Prof.
Ya, foto.
Sedang foto, Prof.
Pakai masker enggak?
Enggak usah.
Enggak usah.
Enggak usah.
Oke. 1, 2, 3. Oke, lagi 5, 1, 2, 3. Ya, sudah.
Oke. Oke, terima kasih Bapak Ibu semua.
Terima kasih semuanya. MC-nya hebat, semuanya hebat. Terima kasih luar biasa.
Thank you, Prof. Makasih, Prof. Makasih, Prof. If.
Terima kasih. Pembicara, terima kasih. Terima kasih luar biasa. Luar biasa.
Wow, Prof. If masih ada.
Oke.
Baik. Oke, kita close, Mas Iji. Terima kasih.
Mbak Ati, hebat Mbak Ati. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Prof kesempatannya.
Luar biasa, kita lanjutin ya.
Ya, Prof.
Prof Kim lucu banget ya presentasi. Nama kita digondol terus. Biasa. Makasih Mbak. Ya,
sampai terakhir mengikuti Prof If. Prof If mengikuti sampai terakhir.
Oh, sampai terakhir dia?
Iya.
Oh, waktu di fotonya ada dia?
Ada.
Wah.
Bosnya masih pada di parah lu.
Thank you, Im. Hai, Im. Udah nggak ada ya?
Udah tutup udah keluar.
Thank you so much. Terima kasih Bapak Suroso, ya ampun, senior banget Pak Roso, matur nuwun sanget. Nuwun.
Bermaaf berarti.